What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Ollie Reviews, and today we're going ahead and jump into the Avatar, The Last Airbender Season 2 Netflix version, the live action. And I'm not sure why I said Avatar Last Airbender like that. It's one of my favorite series, one of my favorite shows of all time, the animated version, and I genuinely wanted to give Season 2 a better shot than I gave Season 1, and I became highly disappointed as the show goes on. So first off, I'm working my way through Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I stopped because Season 2 came out of Avatar Last Airbender live action. I reviewed Season 1, so I was like, let's give Season 2 a shot. And I'm going to break this down two different ways. I'm going to do the good, the bad, and the in-between. And in-between, let me tell you something, it's tough. All right, we're going to hop into the good. So the good of this season is some of the CGI fights is good. Aang fighting the serpent and Surface Pass is pretty cool. The final fight scene between Azula and Aang and Zuko and Katara, it was decent. It was solid. Also, this is a spoiler review. If you have never seen Avatar Last Airbender, why are you listening to my review? Go watch it and then come back and we can hop into it. But that was good. And then Toph and Zakka, those are the two brightest spots for me when it comes to this season. After that, it's not good. And before I want to hop into the not good part of it, the bad, I would say there are a few jokes that made me laugh in this. There's a scene where Aang is trying to get food and stuff from a merchant in the middle of an earthbending kingdom or earthbending city or town, trying to get some food for some refugees, and he's like, hey, I don't have any money, but I can give it to you for, my blessings. I do weddings, stuff like that. And the lady goes, no money, no food. And Aang's like, what the heck? When a air nomad walks around, they give out, they get blessings. People want to help out. He's like, what's going on? And Zakka looks at him and goes, wait, were you just expecting this lady to give you goods and services with no money? And Aang is kind of like, what, duh.
When the air nomads travel, people usually take care of them. I wasn't expecting this.
You didn't expect people to want money in exchange for goods and services?
No.
And that was a funny bit because Zakka had his quips and he hit Aang right with what are you doing? Like, come on, man. And then another scene where Aang is fighting the boulder and Toph's teacher and with Toph, and they're all three giving Aang advice on how to earthbend because Aang doesn't know how to earthbend, and Toph is just being a dick to Aang in this sense. And Aang doesn't take tough love or tough criticism. He needs reassurance, and he needs positive assurance when he's doing something, like, hey, good job, work on this better. But he doesn't get that, and Toph is doing, being a jerk as she is in the series at first, because she doesn't really know how to handle somebody who doesn't have a tough exterior. And the boulder and the teacher also does the same thing, which I thought was a fun bit. Like,
hold your ground.
Caress the earth like a lover.
What?
Recognize the element to command the element.
Stop.
Study the
Move
terrain.
it.
You must
Move
move Earth in order
it. Don't
Between your
airbend.
toes.
the element.
that's a fun spot. Those are my bright spots when it comes to this series or this season. And I do like some of the stuff they're doing with the blue spirit in this. I do like, Zuko helping out the Earth Kingdom in a sense. That was a cool spot. But then the bad and everything else after that. The story is probably the worst thing I truly dislike. There are bits and pieces of the show where they hit you to remember berry stuff, where like, oh, do you remember Zakka going, funny mushroom, drink cactus juice, it's the quenchiest. They throw that in here. And Zakka, after he's being drunk and sitting on, the floor, he says that because he drank cactus juice. Like, okay, he's doing hallucinations inside of a house versus being out in the desert.
It's a giant mushroom. Maybe it's friendly.
some of the talking bits when it comes to the line reads, when it comes to Toph and Zakka being on a barrel together, and they hit the whole, oh no, it's I can't say it's dark in here, and talk, oh no, it's a nightmare. Like, they're reading off stuff just for the sake of the show, because it happened in the show. We should throw it into this for the live action. My cabbages, when the guy doesn't lose any of his cabbages, he screams it, and it just sounds out of place.
My cabbages!
They try to do leaves from the vine. It doesn't really work because Iroh's been a gloomy person this whole series, this whole season. He doesn't truly give that exterior of him being a jolly good person who's excited and trying to help Zuko. He helps Zuko, but he's more like moping himself because of the loss of Ba Sing Se, which is fair and it's a different take on the character, but you remove what makes Iroh the best thing, which is he's like the grandpa, the uncle, the fun uncle who's there to have a good time, but at the same time he can get serious. And this, he's kind of just mopey the whole time because he's in Ba Sing Se. Like he hasn't really grieved the loss of his son that's happened years ago. So that is something that to me, I'm like, wait, when Leaves on the Vine happening on the anime, it happened because Iroh is showing, he has this great exterior about life, this great response to life and helping out people and doing things left and right for the good, for betterment of other people. But then when he goes to see his son's grave, he's like, I couldn't save you, but I'm saving everybody else. And it hits him, he starts crying. It doesn't do that. He just says, like in the show, like after talking to a guy who was trying to stab him like they did in the episode from Tales of Ba Sing Se, he just like goes, after having a conversation with him, goes to his son's grave and like, I wish I could have saved you. Like, if you don't watch the anime or the animation, you don't get why that scene is so important to Iroh. As well, the show opens up with Zuko and Iroh working in a field with no context how they got there. At the end of season 1 in the cartoon, I will switch between cartoon, anime, and animation for Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't feel like it it's an American cartoon. I don't feel like it is a cartoon to me. I'm one of those dudes like, this belongs in anime because it's an American anime. But anime is from Japan. That's why it's called anime. If a cartoon came out of Japan, it's an anime. If it doesn't come out of Japan, it's a cartoon. Animation. But the reason why Zuko and Iroh are on the run is because they failed and Azula was trying to bring them back in the cartoon. And matter of fact, it wasn't the end of season 1, it was the beginning of season 2 for Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon. They were on the run from Azula, who came to bring them back to turn them in, and one of the guys said, hey, turn these prisoners in, and Zuko and Iroh was like, oh, they're here to capture us. I thought Azula wanted to bring us back so we can talk to her dad. My dad wanted to bring me back home. That's not the case, and they go on the run. They cut their ties with the Fire Nation, cut the ponytails from their hair, which was a big moment for those two because they represent their Fire Nation royalty. Now that's gone, and they are no longer hierarchy in the Fire Nation. They're refugees. They're on the run from the Fire Nation. The show opens up with them just being out there in the field working, and Zuko is being a jerk really, and then gets tired of it and then goes off on Iroh and leaves. Okay, so we get the whole Zuko alone stuff. Well, the character assassination of Zuko in this show, the season 2 live action is they did it. They pretty much hurt this dude's character because Zuko always had an honor code about him. The reason why he wanted the Avatar was because he wanted his father's love and praise and want to be accepted back home. He didn't really, besides a few times we were fighting Aang and burn stuff down, but he wasn't really going out his way to attack random people. Like, he went to the Water Tribe in season 1 because he thought Aang was there and he thought it was capturing, like holding him hostage, but he didn't truly attack and try to kill any of the Water Tribe people. He leaves after Aang said, hey, bring me with them. Okay, after that, he's hunting Aang down, but he's not really going out his way to hurt random towns. He's not doing that. But in this, he steals a pregnant woman and a husband food, takes that, and leaves, which I'm like, well, Zuko wouldn't do that. And then when it comes to helping out the people downstairs on the boat when they're going to Ba Sing Se with Jet and them, the reason why Zuko, Jet, and the Freedom Fighters goes to the cabin of the boat people, I can't think of the name of the captain and his crew, is because they was having good food and everybody down there was starving, so they went up there to get food back. Jet, in the sense, he was like, no, forget the people. Why are we helping them out? Which doesn't make sense. And that goes against Jet's character as well. And Zuko's like, okay, cool. But he does help the freedom fighter out. But he's like, yeah, why are we helping these people out? But he does give stuff for Iroh, who got shocked by Azula and was suffering from a scar and could be on the verge of death. So he does get medicine for Iroh to show that he does care about Iroh. But Zuko and Jet both cared about the people on the boat because they wanted to eat and they got food for everybody, and they stepped up to the mean captain. That's not in this season. They just go and do it, which once again doesn't make sense for certain characters. And then you have Zuko have this metamorphosis later down the line, and Zuko with this metamorphosis is then, you know, trying to be a good guy again, help out people, and then turn back bad to Azula with Azula, what he does in the actual cartoon. But you missed a piece of Zuko being a good person all around. He just did what he needed to do to get the Avatar to bring back home. Like, he wasn't innately an evil person. And they try to give you more of that backstory with Zuko, with his mom backstory and his mom being there to help him out. But reality, it made a dope Zuko like a jerk, and really he's not, or I guess teenage Zuko, not really that. He's more of a person who has a mission, and he's willing to accomplish that mission no matter what, but he's not willing to screw over the people to do so. And Zuko, by him doing that, for example, stealing the bag and stuff like that, and not really caring about the other people, it showed that, like, yeah, he is kind of a bad guy. He's kind of a jerk and he's kind of self-centered, but he wasn't. That's the thing with Zuko. Now, I went on a tangent with Zuko with some of the writing, because that's my examples of how they do the writing in this series. But it really did, like, hurt certain characters when it came to the script and how they unfolded certain situations. And I'm about to talk about the Painted Lady, Katara, Jet, and Aang here in a moment. So let's go ahead and get into Katara and the Painted Lady. So Katara, early in the season, because the series is only 7 episodes, but early in the season she hears a story about the Painted Lady, and the Painted Lady is a water spirit who helps out, you know, a Fire Nation in season 3. Helps out Fire Nation village in season 3 when the water gets polluted. Katara decides to help out, and the Painted Lady comes and, you know, thanks Katara. Well, Painted Lady is in this season because reason, and Katara needs a reason to be a freedom fighter. So the lower ring of Ba Sing Se, of course, is not really good. It's in adverse conditions. People are dying, people are hungry, people are, you know, need medicine. Katara decided to don the Painted Lady because people love the Painted Lady. They hear about the spirits, they hear about the stories. So she decided to don the outfit and decided to help the lower ring out. But the reason why they really need this, so that she can interact with Jet later on, after Jet decides to attack a bunch of Fire Nation refugees who are staying in Ba Sing Se, who Zhang, who's not in season 1 of the live action, mind you, is sitting there with the rest of a bunch of Fire Nation escapees who don't want to fight in the war, or they went against the war, so they're staying in Ba Sing Se. Well, Jet is trying to, you know, attack them and use the freedom fighters to attack this group of people, because Zuko, when he was trying to get money for Iroh and Ba Sing Se, he accidentally set to fire a house in the lower ring and didn't really care about it. He set it and went. And Jet decided to blame the Fire Nation that are staying in Ba Sing Se. Okay, cool. Which also shows how mean the people can be to the Fire Nation refugees as well, because they're like, oh, we're gonna beat them up, and regardless of what they say, they did it. They caused a fire, so we're gonna beat them up. And Katara and Zuko work together, the Painted Lady and the Blue Spirit, because he'll go down the Blue Spirit outfit again, works together and decides to, fight back against the Earth Nation bullies, in a sense, the freedom fighter. Jet immediately recognized Katara, so the painted lady stuff didn't really matter. Zuko recognized her, so that didn't really matter. And Jet and Katara interact because of the painted lady stuff. Also, the Dai Li was using the painted lady as a way to trap Aang if Aang decided to step out of line, which they do. That also happens. And Aang uses that as a way to be mad at Katara later on because reasons. Doesn't really make any sense. She's doing a good thing, but Aang's like, what are you doing behind my back? Okay, chill, Aang. I'm gonna get to you in a moment. At one point, because of this, because of Katara found Jet and threw him onto the wall, which in the cartoon, Jet and Zuko do get into a fight because Zuko, Iroh bend some fire in front of Jet by mistake to heat up his tea, and Jet like, oh, they're Fire Nation, I'm gonna bust them. And Zuko and Jet get into a fight on the street, and Jet gets sent to the prison of Ba Sing Se. That happens in the cartoon. In the live action, Jet never gets there. Jet does not go to the prison of Ba Sing Se. He does not have the redemption arc that he has in the cartoon. In the live action, Jet is thrown to a wall in ice and corpse in ice, gets freed. Katara goes back later to get Jet because they needed somebody who knows the streets of Ba Sing Se, who's an outside refugee, who also can help them find the spirit library that's in the lower ring of Ba Sing Se. That's where it's at. It's not out in the desert. It's in Ba Sing Se. And they go get Jet. Because Jet, who, mind you, by the way, unless they've been at Ba Sing Se for a few months, doesn't really know the bottom levels of the lower ring like that, but of course he does, apparently. So that's the reason why they get him. Not because he knows where the spirit library is at, not because he knows where it's at. They go get him because they think he knows the bottom level of, the lower ring of Ba Sing Se. And when they bring him back, when Katara brings Jet back to the rest of Team Avatar, they're like, what the heck? Why are you here? He tried to murder King Bumi. He's a horrible person. All these things. And Katara's like, we can trust him. You just watch him attack a bunch of Fire Nation refugees, and you're like, now we can trust him? Writing. Make that make sense. And Jet does go to the library with them in this story, and he does die by the owl in the library. That's how he goes out. He was a distraction for Team Avatar, so Team Avatar can get out. In episode 6, they get out, and at the same time, the Dai Li attacks Appa, which Toph could not do which she tried to do in the cartoon, where she tried sandbend, but she can't sandbend because she can't see in sand. She can sense Appa getting kidnapped, but she decided to put all her energy from letting the library collapse to prevent them from dying. Because if you die in the spirit world, you die in the real world. And Jet and the librarian who decided to, I guess the scholar who is in this, he rats out Team Avatar when Spock Sphere sends Sokka to the calendar room, and he sees when the day of Sojin Comet is supposed to come, and then the day of Black Sun, he sees that as well. Also, the Airbender Avatar Yang Chen and Avatar Kyoshi is the one who shows up to actually tell Toph about the day of the Black Sun and also Sojin Comet. Avatar Kyoshi had this conversation with Toph and said like, oh, this is the reason I showed up, because anytime you're around the Avatar, weird stuff happens. So let me break down what's going on, Toph. Because Toph's in the library, she can read Braille, which is great for her. And Avatar Yang Chen shows up to talk to Aang about the situation. So the Avatar's flowing around everywhere. But the main gist of it, once they figure out what happened about the Black Sun and also Sojin Comet, the librarian, who the scholar dude, rats out Team Avatar. The owl kills him, and then he turns around and tries to take out, like he does in the cartoon, the rest of Team Avatar. And Jet decided to have his redemption moment here, which doesn't really make sense why he's there, and tries to stop the owl ended up sacrificing himself for Team Avatar to get out. Once that happened, Aang has his explosion moment, which wasn't really much of an explosion. It's more like him just saying, whining, where's Appa? Where's Appa? Goes into Avatar state. And now I'm gonna talk about Aang. Aang is not written well in this season. He's not written well at all in this season. He is 16 years old. They established the age gap. They established him getting older. They definitely do that, point it out, which is great because it's weird for him to go from a 12-year-old kid to a 16-year-old kid within 4 years, and not sure why, what happens. And I guess some time has passed since the events of Northern Water Tribe to get back to the CEO Mashu that's under attack or was conquered by Azula and see at the end of season 1. But Aang pretty much acts like a spoiled kid in certain senses. Like, the dude doesn't accept the fact that his friends are trying to help him out. He's like, I gotta do this all by my own. I'm more about me. I'm really about the fact that I had to fight the Fire Nation, and also I don't care about anybody else. We gotta tell the king about the war, and then Appa's gone, so I'm gonna go ahead and sabotage everything else we worked on to find Appa. I don't care about the war. Appa needs to be found. And then when Long Fei rats out the rest of the Team Avatar, he snaps on them talking about, how dare you guys, you guys have been doing things behind my back. Toph, because the show fairly didn't give her something to do, her mother is funding, or her parents are funding the Fire Nation, which Katara goes off on that, when, mind you, and she talk like, did your mom's one who sent the war machines down? Did your mom one fund the war machine that killed my mom and took my family, all this stuff? She's going in on Toph about the Fire Nation, but then end up helping Fire Nation refugees episode before. Make that make sense. And then Zakka, who he went around and with the doctor and with the librarian, and they was upset about that. And then of course Katara being a painted lady, so Aang's going off on all of them about the stuff they're doing, about their plans and all these things, and talking about they don't care about me, they don't care about Team Avatar, I gotta defeat the world. But yeah, I'm screaming about Appa because they wouldn't give me Appa, so I keep going to the Avatar state because I'm upset and whining about it, versus the cartoon version, who is more like, look, I'm mad about Appa, Katara's there to help me out, my friends help calm me down, we'll find Appa. And that's what the episode of Serpent Path was supposed to be. It would be Aang learning and dealing with grief and understanding, look, there's always hope even when things seem bleak. We might not have Appa now, but we can find Appa later. Let's go ahead and go to Ba Sing Se and we can work from there. That was the point of the Serpent's Path in the cartoon. When you put the Serpent Path at the beginning of this series, of this season, you remove the thing when Appa does get kidnapped, how important Appa is, and two, you remove the fact that Aang doesn't have the moment of grief and doesn't have the moment to come to terms. He is just yelling and going on a rampage, and then he finally does find Appa. He's just like, all right, well, I guess everybody else is in trouble, so I guess I should go help them out. Toph, when it comes to bad writing in this season, she considered everybody her friend in this season, but she's not really their friend. Aang goes off on her and pretty much kicks her to the side and tells her to leave, and she decided to go back and help because they understand her. If Aang understand her, he would never abandon her like that, but yet apparently he's her friend, so she gonna go back and help him out. She had no reason to come back to help him out at the end of the season. Matter of fact, she had no reason to join him at the beginning of the season. The only reason why she joined him, because she's like, oh, I get to fight the Fire Nation. Cool beans. Because back to Zuko and back to Aang here and Toph, in the episode Zuko's in the Zuko Alone episode, in the Earthbender, the Blind Bandit episode that they merged together here, Zuko and Azula are fighting Aang in this episode after Zuko, who's been dealing with his family drama and thinking about his past, and also the kid that he helped out with the bandits, he has an older sister instead of his parents, and the lady that Zuko steals the rooster horse from, or chicken horse, whatever it is, steals that from, she is actually the sister to the little boy. They have a back and forth, and Zuko's understanding about the Earth Nation and about all the things like that. Well, the only reason the Avatar is in town, Aang is in town, so he goes and shows the true colors, burns the city down, so it makes the Earth Kingdom, that Earth City, more upset at Zuko for what he's doing. And doesn't show that, hey, even though your savior is a Fire Nation person, we still hate the Fire Nation so much. They don't get that storyline out there. And Azula shows up, intercepts Zuko, talks to Zuko. Zuko starts fighting Aang. Azula jumps in. So now Zuko and Azula are fighting Aang, and then Team Avatar shows up. Toph shows up just out of nowhere. Just like, hey, after she told Aang, get lost, I'm not leaving my family. I do not want to be your teacher. Do not ruin the fact I'm the blind bandit. She just shows up and like, hey, there's a fight going on. I'm in.
No, why didn't you just tell me there was going to be real fighting involved?
Okay, sure, we're in, and your parents don't know that you're an earthbending master. Okay, what are we doing here? Mind you, this is all in the bad. Like, the characters and the writing is all in the bad of this season. I have not even got into the in-between, because there really not is an in-between. It goes from good straight bad. This season, the writing for this is just not good. It doesn't make sense. Towards the end of the season, I'm jumping away from Toph here, who just joins the fight. At the end of the season, she goes back to help out because she said they're my friends, and she learns metal bending because of this. Shows her mom that, hey, I'm the greatest metal bender or earthbender of all time. Leaves to help him out, and she just shows up because reason. She doesn't really have a reason to be here after the end of this season and the beginning of this season. Like, she tells Aang to get lost, shows up, comes back to save him, and not even save Aang, Zakka and the mechanist, who is Sai in this season, because he comes back. He's a part of the story. The guy that helped bend the Fire Nation blimps, he's a part of the story, and he has to give Zakka something to do. And speaking of Sokka's bad writing, because he has bad writing too, you know, Zakka and Toph for the best part of the season. Sokka's bad writing is his story with Suki. Sokka is still dealing with the loss of Yue and her becoming the moon, and this is all happening in the server's past, and the anime does it really good, where Suki shows her feeling for Sokka. She tries to kiss him. Sokka pulls back and says he can't do it. And then at the end of the season, he kisses Suki, tells her like, hey, look, I'm sorry, my girlfriend prior to you, the lady I had a crush on, turned into the moon. And kind of say, no, I want to be with you. He keeps putting that off and keep putting Suki aside. When Suki decides to leave after they get to Amashu, she just leaves because the Kyoshi Warriors are with Team Avatar in this season. They actually help with the Serpent Pass episode. They leave, which gets jumped by Azula, and Azula takes the costumes on the Kyoshi Warriors and infiltrate the city of Ba Sing Se. That happens, but Sokka has this whole depression thing and everything, and Sai can't help him through this, and he's upset about Suki and the fact he can't tell Suki, and the show try to put this tension here that doesn't need to be put there for Sokka, which has a really good moment where Sokka and Katara start crying at the Ba Sing Se party over the fact that, you know, they both dealing with loss and grief, and Katara's like, I'm not over mom. Sokka's like, oh, that man, me too, I'm not over mom either. The force of more stuff that happened in the cartoon. That part is not really, it need to be dragged out. It's not good. It wasn't forced. And by the way, it kind of just like ends on that note. And back to, so I got to Sokka, got to Toph, got to Katara, Zuko, talked about him, Azula, she's just there. She's just there. The city of Amashu falls, and you have the scene where, you know, you incorporate Azula, incorporate Ty Lee, incorporate May in the cartoon. They incorporate them doing this episode. when the fall of Mashu, Aang goes and try to talk to King Bumi in the beginning part of episode of season 2, first part of it. Try to go talk to him, and Bumi is in a like apartment size cell. It is really nice. It's done up. He's really sitting there chilling, and Aang like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Nothing. I'm tapping into neutral gene." However, it doesn't show that Bumi's a good bender. It doesn't show that Bumi knows what he's doing, because in the cartoon, Aang captures Bumi, and Bumi's in his cell, but Aang captures him in more of a coffin cell, takes him throughout the city, and then pretty much Bumi tells Aang stop. He shows Aang that I'm actually not captured. I'm actually pretty good, and I'm just waiting for the right moment. And yeah, I find somebody who does the same thing. I can't teach you because there's a moment where I need to be here, but find yourself a teacher who can do the right thing. And then he kind of bends himself back up, puts himself like, I'm trying to remember if he breaks out or not. If real or not, he does. He shows Aang that he can bend within the steel cage, or yeah, this iron cage, the steel cage that he doesn't really need, to be free. But he's like, it's not time yet. So he backs himself back up and leaves in the cartoon. In the live action, he's just chilling for no reason, and just like, oh, well, hey, I'm here. So Omashu already failed. Bumi's hanging out. So Zula goes and leaves, and then tracking down Aang in the Team Avatar, which they don't do that episode, which shows like, hey, the episode where they're having sleepless nights because they're trying to find a way to escape Team Azula. They don't do that. And they don't get the interaction between Toph, Katara, Sokka, and Aang really growing together. They don't do that at all. They kind of just go right into boxing, say after Toph shows up. And the conversation between Toph and Iroh that happens early in the season, they kind of do it later in the season, which doesn't really make sense, but they do it anyway. They completely just have Azula hanging out, and she finds Avatar and then decides to fight Avatar with Zuko. Zuko for some reason decides to fight Azula at the end, and Iroh shows up, and then Azula attacks Iroh because reasons. They do the whole backstory of Azula and her mom. Her mom thinks she's a monster, and Azula like, I'm not, but I'm a bully. And Azula's the reason why their mom gets kidnapped, because their mom tried to take Azula and Zuko away, but then Azula mentions, hey mom, what are you doing? And they get kidnapped. Her mom gets kidnapped and pretty much gets, well, the soldier gets kidnapped and gets like treated handily by the Fire Nation soldiers. So that caused that rift between Azula and Zuko still even further. And of course, the dad, Ozai, still being a jerk to Zuko and praising Azula. But Azula's just there. And then after they escape, Azula escapes. She apparently hunting down Iroh and Zuko. Sure. Doesn't make sense. And then she shows up again at, the bossing say, and does the coup de grace, which is fine. Like, she takes over bossing say, that's fine. Wan Fei or Long Fei doesn't really stand a chance like he does in the cartoon. That's great. The Earth King doesn't really care at all. He's not a fanboy of the Avatar. He just want to get out. And that to me just like, okay, sure. And there's other things where, and then finally towards the end there, where Azula decides to fight Aang with Zuko and Katara, and they fight each other. And by the way, the scene before that where Katara and Zuko has their moment, they talk about their mom dying. Katara is captured by the Dai Li in the water spirit get up. She's in the get up. And for some reason, the next scene shows her in her waterbender clothes, her water tribe clothes, which doesn't make any sense at all. She was just the water spirit, and now she is the painted lady. She was just in the painted lady gear, and now she's back in her water tribe gear with no change whatsoever, but she still has the paint of the painted lady on her face. It doesn't make sense to me, but they just need it for the fight. Aang doesn't go into the Avatar state at all, except for like every time he's mad about Appa, and does it at the end. Now, they do mention if you die in the Avatar state, you can lose the Avatar state forever, but they don't really explain why you need to go in the Avatar state is important. Because when you do it, you're supposed to give away your worldly attachments to really fully embrace the Avatar state. Well, Aang doesn't have that conversation, and it doesn't show why he's afraid to go into Avatar state. In the cartoon, he's afraid to hurt Katara. In the live action, he's not. He's just there, and he's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Then he finally does it. He finally taps in, and Azula doesn't shoot him down like she does in the cartoon. She actually fights Aang. Aang kicks both Zuko and Azula's butt. And for some reason, he's about to kill Azula, but he stops, and then Azula like stabs him with lightning. Mind you, she shot lightning man, and when he first transformed, he dodged it with ease. You'll think he'll be able to dodge it again, but he doesn't, and he gets stabbed to the chest, and Katara heals his back. Okay, sure. Y'all, why did y'all change the plot points of the season? Why did y'all do that? Why did y'all move stuff around? It's not good. And we pretty much did a breakdown of the season. It's not good. And all I can think was watching this was, why does One Piece live action work so well versus the Avatar Last Airbender live action? And the answer that comes to my mind is that Oda is working on the One Piece live action. He's the producer of it. He adds his input on characters and where stuff should be, and he's not changing characters' mentality. He's not changing character personalities or changing their core essence to fit a new story. He is really he's adding in beat pieces. Like Brook is not in season 2 of One Piece, but they added in there. Bartolomeo is not in season 2 of One Piece, but they add him in there because he's already there. They just added bits and pieces instead of adding them later. They added it now to flesh out these characters. Luffy fighting Laboon is not in season 2 of the live action, but yet he helps Laboon calm down by singing him Brinks' brew or Brinks' sake in the live action, which works because they already the backstory of Brook singing the song to Laboon. In this, the live action Avatar Last Airbender, they set up stuff like Zuko learning lightning, learn how to redirect lightning, doesn't play a part at all in this season. When he tries it in the cartoon, he doesn't play a part in this. It's frustrating when they throw in characters or move stories around. Like the Serpent's Pass is a great episode. You don't need to move that out of place. Keep it the same. Zakka and Suki having issues. Keep it the same. Do not add on to it where Sokka is conflicted between Yue and Suki. Don't add on to it. But yet they did. Zuko sacrificing himself, his honor code to do certain things, and then you go ahead and put it, changes it in the live action. It sabotages the character. Usopp in the One Piece live action has a moment where he knows it's okay to be afraid, but still he can be a great warrior in season 2. That doesn't happen until Water 7 in One Piece. Zuko, and it also doesn't change Usopp's core character of him being a fraidy cat who's willing to step up for his friends. He just learns the lesson earlier, so he should be able to step up in Alabasta, which makes sense why he steps up in Alabasta. Zuko here, sacrificing himself, or not even sacrificing, just sabotaging himself and taking his honor and taking, the pregnant lady's water and food. What the heck? Zuko not caring about the people underneath who are starving, those things, sacrificing Zuko's honor for the sake that changes his character. Why are we doing that? And then when he goes back and help people, you're like, wait, moments ago you didn't give 2 craps, and now yet here you are caring about people. Well, he went to a metamorphosis. The reason why he goes to the metamorphosis in the cartoon, he goes to the metamorphosis because he does something where he conflicts his true nature is coming through from what his goal was. His goal was to capture the Avatar. He had Appa. He found Appa, and he was going to keep Appa, but he decided to let Appa go after Iroh was talking to him about what do you want. There's a whole and powerful scene there that they get rid of for Aang just to find Appa because the Dai Li captured him. Why did they capture Appa? I don't know. Azula didn't send him on that mission. I don't know why they captured Appa. They just did. And they didn't like, it wasn't like because, no, he got sold into the black market and then he escaped and found his way into, you know, Boxing Satan and gets captured. They just take him. So Zuko and Aang just finds him. So Zuko doesn't have the moment where he frees Appa and has a confliction between his heart on whether or not he should be a good guy or bad guy. The confliction happens when Zuko, you know, saves the Fire Nation, and then he has this moment of like, he saved his own people. There's no conflict there. Of course he saved his own people. He saved his own people in season 1, which they don't bring his crew back up. Like, he saved the crew, and that's why they're a part of his group to go find Aang on a pretty much a punishment, abandonment, of exile witch hunt. They don't do that in this season, and it bothers me that Zuko had his metamorphosis while having the whole conflict of, I am saving the Avatar, I am saving the Avatar's pet for, I could capture him and go back and get my honor, but I'm not. And now I have this metamorphosis of who I really want to be. I decided to be a good guy, but now my sister has come talk to me and said, Father can redeem you. So I am going to, you know, go with my sister and have my honor back from my dad. I believe my dad's love and affection is what I need to be a person. That hits harder than just Zuko saving the Fire Nation. Yeah, they didn't fight back, but he saved the Fire Nation. He saved his own people. There's no conflict of interest there. There's no conflict there. If anything, Katara should have the conflict because she's protecting the Fire Nation. She hates the Fire Nation. That's her whole thing. That's why she has to get over this hump with Zuko in season 3. She should have the conflict, not Zuko. Zuko should still be the same, the guy who sacrificed his honor in the earlier parts of the season, but they don't have that happen. And then I believe Zuko turned a new leaf. Come on, man. Come on. I know they're doing stuff for the sake of, you know, well, I want to write the show this way. But the two creators, and I'm about to mess their name up, Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Canixo. I hope I said his last name right. I might just call him D and K, call him D and K. Or just call him Brian for short. But they left the show. They left the show, and when they did that, the writers, instead of just looking at the source materials and saying like, okay, we can do, and I understand because Moana just came out, Moana just flopped, the live action Moana, because it was a beat for beat. They didn't change anything from the story. It was the same exact thing that you saw 2 years ago or 10 years ago. They did the same exact thing, and you don't want to do the same exact thing for live action. I get that. Also, 24 episodes crammed into 7 episodes is hard. I get that. But when you get rid of the creators who are giving you tips on how your characters should act and how your characters should respond to things, you thus hurt the material and hurt the overall essence of the show. The guy yelling, "My cabbages!"
My cabbages!
It's just yelling "my cabbages" to be yelling "my cabbages" because you remember him saying that. He said "my cabbages." Why? I genuinely don't understand it. The writers and the creator of the show is a part of something. Let them help. Let One Piece figure it out. One Piece figured it out, and the Avatar: Last Airbender did not, and it really bothers me to the point where I'm like, if you did not watch the source material, you did not watch the cartoon, you watched this show, you'd be like, I don't understand what's going on. Why does Aang does not care? Why does Aang can't go into Avatar say he did it at the end of season 1? Why is Zuko and Iroh on the run? Why does Toph just shows up and join them after she says I do not want to join them? It baffles me. It baffles me, and that's the in-between. I've ranted, I've gone on a rant, and yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can really talk about, anything else I can go over. I pretty much laid out everything I need to lay out. I haven't even talked about the ending, which they're going to open up for season 3, because it's going to come, and they probably going to screw it up too. Like, I don't know, I might do a video if I'm going to rewrite Avatar: Last Airbender, and I had to do it for the sake of, Netflix, and had an hour-long episodes, and I might do a video on how to rewrite it. because this is not good. It's not good. And honestly, making a darker version of Avatar, that's fine. You can make a more dope version of Avatar, like what they did in season 1 with the Fire Nation attacking the air nomads. That was cool. I didn't mind that. I thought that was fine. But it just, the Boulder versus Toph scene, for example, it is watered down. They're just saying stuff they got from the cartoon, and it's just like this so forced. Anytime the characters say something, like Zakka going, "Water Tribe."
What a trap.
It seemed forced versus him doing the cartoon. He's like, "Water Tribe." It just, the situation, they seem like they're like, "You remember this? We're throwing this in here." Aang using the earth bending against Azula, and he does the rock formation, because the drill is not in here. The drill scene where he fights Azula and beats her for the first time, that's not in here. And to see how, you know, Zakka thinks and how Zakka decides to attack things and break down game plans, that's not in here for that episode. Which the drill episode didn't make sense to me either in the cartoon, because it seemed like they forced Azula in there, like she was doing her own thing, looking for the Avatar, and all of a sudden she's now attacking Bossy Save for some reason. Didn't really make sense, but I guess she had a new mission from her dad on the off screen, and then that's why she's there. They don't really talk about that in the cartoon, so I understand why they remove the drill episode, but you do miss a piece of Aang fighting Azula, and Azula kind of want to get her win back. Or seeing how dangerous Aang is. Besides that one time she fought him in the town where Toph lives at, which doesn't make sense, but okay. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's not a good show. It's not good, and I really wish it could have been better. You know, hey, they got farther than good old M. Night Shyamalan. They got to season 2. They're gonna get season 3. It's probably green lit. But if they don't bring the creators back, I mean, they are really hurting themselves and putting themselves in a hole. And the creators left because they're like, no, this is not our characters. This is not how Aang would act. This is not how Zuko would act. It's okay cutting certain episodes. It's okay to shorten the series, but at least, you know, put Appa Lost Days prior to the finale. Put that to the prior finale. Not have Team Avatar fight and bicker with each other, and then they all leave on bad notes, but yet come together in the end to save each other because the story needs them to. Like, what are we doing here? Actually have Zuko have an issue with capturing Aang, because they actually showed Zuko stalk Aang at the end of episode 5, and nothing comes of that. Nothing comes of that. And I get having Zuko watching the Blue Spirit, and the Blue Spirit being a childhood hero of his. That's why they decided to make him become the Blue Spirit versus him creating a character of himself. Fine, whatever. I don't know. It's bad. I've ranted long enough. Grading time. I'm gonna grade Avatar: Last Airbender, Netflix live action season 2. I'm giving this a D. It gets a D for me. It is, sadly, Toph and Zakka don't really, you know, save the season for me from the bad writing and some of the bad dialogue that's given to these actors and actresses. It just does not save it. The story out of place just doesn't do it justice. This is like an hour-long episode. I apologize. I normally don't do hour-long episodes, but I genuinely needed to get this off my chest for this one, and this one of my favorite series. It's not good. It's not good. And I might sound like I rambled. Sorry, that's just how I talk when it comes to my podcast and when it comes to my shows. But I am going in on characters that, like, unfortunately, they could have done better pieces and they didn't do better work. Like, if they just kept the writers on, they could have kept DiMartino and Brian Canezzo on this, it would have been a better series. It would have been a better series, and they could have told a different story or added different characters in. When you have something that's already done, and some people acclaim one of the greatest cartoons in American history, and you try to go back and redo it, at least keep the creators on it so that way they can tell you how the characters should be. So we can change certain things. Like, I think Zuko fighting with Katara as the painted lady in the lower rings is not a bad idea. It was just executed wrong. And when you execute something wrong, you're gonna get the backlash of it. And sometimes a good idea done wrong don't need to be done at all. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Ali Reviews. If you've seen Avatar Season 2 of Netflix live action, what do you think? Please put in the comment section below. I'm giving it a D. Hopefully Season 3 turns it around. They have one more season of finale, and if they do it, go for it. They just better not touch Korra, because Korra was already done well as is because of the constraints that the writers was given, the creators was given. If they touch Korra, no. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I appreciate y'all. See y'all next episode. Please like, share, subscribe. Please tell your friends and family about this series. I appreciate y'all. See y'all next episode and keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of the video. I appreciate that too. Please like, share, subscribe, and let your friends and family know about this series. Also, you can watch more episodes here and on Patreon, patreon.com/Ali Zakka. For $2 a month, you get to watch new episodes of Ali Reviews and Ali Plays before they come out on YouTube. Other than that, see you guys next episode and keep being awesome.